seconds.
Hello there. Welcome, everyone, to Clever Title Pending for Tuesday, March 9th, 2021. And I'm really excited. Boy, howdy. If you like the name Brian, your joy will be doubled today. We have double the Brian for your pleasure today. But first, we got to get some business done. We want to thank everyone who's following the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Please take a screenshot of that. And that is just a few of our shows that we've got on the air that we hope you'll enjoy. All kinds of stuff from Comics, Chaos, and Sass to TED Talks, Creative as Hail, Comic Book Spectrum, Stupid O'Clock, Michaela Jade's Tidbits and Scribbles, Historical Fencing Guild, Armchair Rocket Science, and all kinds of great broadcasting. We've got a page on Facebook. You see at the bottom there. Please check it out and give that page a like. And please subscribe. Many of us have our own YouTube channel, so that would be lovely if you would consider us when you're subscribing to YouTube things. It's very important. And also, we want to say hello to our patrons from Patreon, www.patreon.com / Brian K. Morris. Just $1 will get your name mentioned on all of our shows and our publications and all that. And a little more will get you more. But so please check out our offerings. And many of the people you see on the screen also have their own Patreon page, including my guests that we will have here rapidly. And we are brought to you by, as usual, Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. Check it out. Pretty gorgeous, huh? Anyway, Jeffrey Hayes can make all kinds of great graphics for you, whether it's a wraparound book cover or your promotional materials or a book trailer like you just saw there. Check out plasmafiregraphics.com and also their Facebook page, Plasma Fire Graphics, so the look of your book matters to you. Now, something that matters to me is somebody who is just incredibly cool. He is a writer, an artist, a publisher, a broadcaster, a crowdfunder. I mean, if he sold milk and eggs, he'd be one-stop shopping. And he's one of my favorite people on this planet. Love him to death. And here he is, the one, the only Mr. Brian Rodman. Brian, how are you tonight?
I am good, and now I'm considering selling milk and eggs, sir. How are you?
Boy, my heart beats glad to hear you say that. You've just given me a whole lot of gasoline now.
It's good to be on, man. I feel like this is I swear I've said this before, but I mean it. I think I'm starting to see you more than I see my wife. So
I see you more than I see my wife. My wife couldn't be happier. But anyway,
bring Cookie home.
Bring Cookie home. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And we will get to everyone's comments. We welcome your questions for this man. And also, I realized that I need to. While you have the floor and all the dirt on it, and tell everybody how wonderful and awesome you are, I'm going to call up the Kickstarter page that you currently have going. Okay, yes. So let's give the spotlight here to one of my favorite people, Mr. Brian Rodman. Tell everyone how awesome you are.
Well, hello, everyone. How are you? I'm Brian Rodman. I am the author and illustrator of the horror fantasy comic book series, Memoirs of an Angel. I am also the co-host to the Dastardly Dingoes Podcast and on Rising Tide Network's comic book Spectrum with Brian K. Morris, Clyde Hall, and the Eric Hawkins. And as Brian said, I am currently a week and a half into our Kickstarter for issue 7 of Memoirs of an Angel. And we cleared the first stretch goal by $1 so far. So by an inch or a mile, we got it. So So yeah, we've still got until we've got 17 days to go. We end on March 26th. So yeah,
That's excellent. Yeah, that's super. And you guys got your initial funding pretty quickly, didn't you?
we did. Yeah, we ended up
Oh.
we were funded in under 12 hours. I think it was like a 10 hours and 45 minutes, something like that. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's beautiful. That is fantastic. Let's see. Yeah, we're still putting stuff together here, so we're flying solo here. But anyway, we'll do it like this. But anyway, no, congratulations, man. That's really exciting that you got your project funded. And like I tell everybody, you have done 6 things that many people in the independent comics field don't get to, and that's issues 2 through 7 of their book. Getting that first issue out, they get it done, but so many of them, for whatever reason, don't do an issue 2. In brief, tell everyone what Memoirs of an Angel is about, please.
Well, if you frequent Nevermind the Furthmore, you have heard Brian say this. I don't know how many times. But, Memoirs of an Angel is a horror fantasy comic book series about a ragtag group of infinite and finite beings who race through time and space to rescue a broken and bitter witch hunter from the clutches of the Dark Kingdom. And in many ways, and especially issue 7, it is Lord of the Rings meets The Exorcist. I mean, it's about as extreme as you can get with The Exorcist, and as extreme as you can get with Lord of the Rings. It's like you walk into that room and the final scene of The Exorcist, right? And she's floating on the bed, her head's spinning around, pea soup everywhere. If you pulled back the curtain to the spiritual realm, it would be Helm's Deep in the sky. That's what's happening in issue 7, and that's what's on Kickstarter right now. So, nice. And the tension up until this point, the tension's been building. Like, there's been plenty of action, there's been plenty of horror moments, but this is the first big payoff issue, and it's been a ton of fun to draw. It's been so much fun. So yeah,
I bet.
I can't wait for you guys to read it.
That is great. And if you're wondering how to get your copy of it, there it is. It's a bit of a long address there, but just look up Brian Rodman, Memoirs of an Angel, on Kickstarter, and you're sure to find it. Also, please go to brianrodman.com. That's his website. And also, if you're interested in the Dastardly Dingoes, and really, it's a great show. It is a lot of fun to not just to watch, but to be on as well. So there is the link to his YouTube channel, and please remember to like and subscribe. That is very important. And if you're watching us right now on Facebook, please like the video if you're enjoying any part of it. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, again, please give a thumbs up on this video and subscribe, and then run over to Brian's page and do the very same to his. So let's see, here we go. So anyway, you made your initial $2,000 goal, and you're $500 above that. Now tell everybody why reaching 2,500 was so important to you.
Well, the 2,000 was the bare bones, right? Like, that is what we needed to get everything printed, to fund everything that we've all the rewards, everything. My time putting into this, and that's bare bones. And anything else, it provides more funding for the project. But more important, and this is honestly, truly how I feel, I want backers to get more stuff. So, like, with every $500, now a lot of people will go like 1,000 for a stretch goal. We like to do 500 just because I want more. I want people to have more things. So, the $2,500 was so special to me because we've introduced the King of Ages before, which is he's essentially God in the series, and this the stretch goal that was unlocked was a 5x7 art card of him. And he's going to be playing a major role moving forward, especially in this issue. And so I really wanted just as many people to have that as possible. So if you jump on board the campaign, you will get that. It's been unlocked. If you are a digital backer, you will still get a digital copy of that, because I want everybody to have something. I know there are some rewards that only you can do for physical backers,
right.
But even with the new stretch goal that's at $3,000 that we're aiming towards now is bookmarks. and they're of the swords of the angels in this issue, and if you are a digital backer, you'll get a digital copy. That you don't really use digital bookmarks, but at least
I'm always losing my place in my digital books, man. Don't be dissing me, man.
I don't know what to do.
I want my share.
But no, yeah, at least you'll have the artwork and stuff too. So no, that's honestly that's really why I love hitting these stretch goals, because our backers just get more things, and then we get more funding to be able to do more with for next time, because really, like, that's what I don't know an indie creator that's not what you do with the extra funding. It just goes right back into creating more books, and like, we don't pocket anything. You know what I mean? My goodness.
Yeah. Usually when somebody says, "Well, I want to make a lot of money doing comics or books or anything creative," it's all I can do to keep from laughing out loud and destroying their soul. I fully get that. Now, where'd you get the idea for Memoirs of an Angel?
Well,
I'm gonna be flashing some viewer comments across the screen.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
so
I welcome the comments. My body is ready for you people.
So here we go.
Yes,
and Sarah, mwah, glad to see you, darling.
And let's see. So I guess I was in middle school, and I became like pretty serious about my faith, and serious as a middle schooler can be, and that just really became more and more important to me as I've grown older. And I actually, for a time, was going to school for vocational ministry. I was going to be a youth pastor, and I was doing youth ministry, and during that time, I've always loved comics. I've always been adored by comics, and that's been my favorite part of that's been my favorite way to tell stories, and my favorite way to ingest stories. Mm-hmm. And when I just kept finding myself, when I was in school, learning theology, learning doctrine, all of these things, I just kept coming back to, well, this would be really cool for memoirs, because I've always had that title, Memoirs of an Angel. That's been in my head for, good grief, now 20 years now. Mm-hmm. For a very long time. And so, like, you can see, like, I guess it was a year or two ago, I pulled out some of my old notebooks from school, and like in the middle of lecture notes, you'll just see off to the side, like, idea for memoirs. Mm-hmm. And it would be that. And so, like, this has been a crucial part of me in my whole life, because I really wanted, as a Christian, I wanted really cool, really awesome, genuine, good quality storytelling that I could relate to when it comes to my faith, and when I could, and there wasn't a whole lot out there. Everything that was out there that was Christian was really family friendly, and I couldn't get into it, man. It was just this Hallmark stuff, and I'm like, that doesn't even resemble what the Bible says. Like, it's just, right. That's crazy, because I've said this many times, that if you made a movie of the Old Testament alone, it would be NC-17. Period.
Yeah.
It just would, like between the gnarly, crazy, nasty violence, and the sex stuff, and just the craziness that happens in the Bible, like, to depict that realistically, to depict that well, it's not family friendly whatsoever. So I really wanted to capture that tone, but I also wanted to give it just a supernatural spin, because I think angels have always fascinated me. Right. Just that realm, the unseen realm, has always fascinated me, especially mm-hmm. with how close it is with to my faith. And so I really wanted to take biblical themes, tell a good story, not be preachy at all, mm-hmm. and essentially focus on the things that a lot of times we overlook. And that's in the unseen realm. It's why do things happen the way that they happen? Right. Like, if you pull back the curtain of the physical world, mm-hmm. maybe you might find some of those answers. And that's what drove me to create this series.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, when did the first issue come out? What year?
So we did the first 3 issues. I did the first three issues in black and white, because I had no idea what I was doing. Like, it was funny, because it was 2015, and you and I actually share a similar story.
Right.
I realized I wanted to get into comics. I was at a Comic Con. I had done an anthology. I was published for the first time in an anthology book here in Louisville, and through the Louisville
Nice.
Cartoonist Society. It was so cool. I was geeking out,
Yeah.
and I was walking through this Comic Con. I was like, I have a book here. This is so cool. I had just signed an autograph, and that was weird. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is interesting. I was like, I think I could do this, and I could finally get memoirs off the ground. So I went into a panel, and Dirk Manning was
Oh yeah.
was leading.
I see the
panel.
hat, buddy. I see the
Yeah,
hat.
yeah. And so it and so I got to talking with Dirk, and he just really nice guy, really helped me professionally, just kind of get off the ground, and gave me the encouragement that I need and the shot in the arm that I needed. And a lot of his advice was great. It panned out amazingly. I came home that day or that night, and I told Robin, and Robin she said, good. I was like, I think I'm going to do this. She said, good, because you're either going to do it and I'm going to help you do this. She said, you're either going to do it or you're going to shut up about it. She said, because I was talking her ear off since I had met her. I was always talking about this. And to her, none of it made any sense because it was all out of context. She had no clue. And I just randomly would be like, this would be cool if this happened here with this character and all this. And she's like, that's great. And every now and then she'd connect the dots. And it was just like, and she'd be like, okay, I think I understand. But I was driving her nuts. And so finally, she, and I give her so much credit, because I didn't know how to start a comic. I didn't know how to start a business. I knew nothing when it came to business. Robin's awesome at business. She went her degrees in accounting. She's such an entrepreneur, and loves just starting up businesses and dreaming things up and spreadsheets and all this stuff that just makes me want to throw up. And so it really helped.
Got one like her at home. I understand.
Yeah. So it really helped me get things going, and it was really cool because we became business partners, and we still are to this day. And she's taught me so much about business. I mean, this Kickstarter right now, this was actually the first one that she was pretty much hands off with.
Really?
We were able to outsource a couple minor, graphic things just to kind of help us out. A friend who we've kind of brought her on as an assistant, and she's been doing great. But yeah, Robin just kind of was like, here, you do this, and if you need any help, come get me. And we've done it so many times. This was our fourth Kickstarter that, I finally got the hang of it, and I guess I know what I'm doing now, and knock on wood. So
yeah, at least we've got the evidence of it. And folks, I do want to urge you, please go to Kickstarter and pledge some support for Memoirs of an Angel #7. I have backed it too, so I'm just not just telling you guys, go out there. I'll wait here where it's safe. No, y'all get on, because Brian was very gracious enough to let me see the first couple issues of that, and I'm like, wow, this is good. This is really good. I'm digging it. So yeah, we're glad to talk that up anytime we can. But please give us some support.
To answer your question, we started off doing black and white, traditional. I didn't even do digital art at first, and we put 3 issues out in black and white, and just kind of got the hang of what it was to create a comic, what the steps. I had there was a lot of YouTube video watching, trying to figure out what the best way was to create a comic. And finally, one Christmas, Robin got me a drawing tablet, a digital tablet, and I fought it for the longest time. I really wanted to stay traditional, and then I tell you what, I finally started doing digital. I'll never go back.
Really? Is it easier, quicker now, or is
I think it provides enough tools and a safety net that really just lets me have a ton of fun. And if I do something, if I make a mistake, or if I try something that doesn't work, click and it's gone.
Yeah.
And the only problem that I have is it kind of eliminates the having an original page that you can, look back on. But I mean, I still have some original pages from those first issues, and so like that's always there. But but no, I love working digitally, and ever since then, that's when I decided to go ahead and redo the first 3 issues, full color, full digital, and do that way from now on.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, let's drop some names here, shall we?
All right, let's.
Yes, yes, we shall. And Sarah, we're glad to see you back. Mwah, good to see you, hon. And Carleen, good to see you. And Carl Witzman, as always. Teresa Dunn, mwah, pleasure to have you here as always. And let's see, let's get some. They're all, and it's the usual thing. You go through the comments. If you watch this show, folks, you're getting 2 shows for the price of 1 because you have Brian and myself on one side, and then you've got all these comments from people who are just totally ignoring us. And and Sarah, well, I love the out of you too. Nick Tockard is here, who's released a brand new book last week. I'll have my phone updated, and I can comment before the show. Evening, all good to see you here. Friday night, the Historical Fencing Guild Society. 8 p.m. Please check that out. That is a fantastic show. And Cindy Kep, CKOEPP.com. Please check her out too. And let's see here. And Lacey Lemke, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to have you here. And the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS Christian. Good show tonight, brother. You done good. And author Michaela Jade going from triumph to triumph. And Keisha Acuff, glad to see you. Hello, wonderful people. What? Nothing for me? Come on. Anyway, Cindy Kemp would like to know, is this a Double Mint commercial?
Double the Brian.
Double the fun. That's right. I only like the one accoutrement. I got to start on it. But...
That right there was the most terrifying screenshot one will ever take.
Corner going 15, 14, 13, 12.
You're like, oh no, get out now while it's
safe. It's not safe.
Fooled you. No. It's never been safe.
That's right. OSHA didn't warn us about this. Anyway, Legend of the Traveling TARDIS says, miss you, Sarah. Forget the Bryans. How are you? That's it.
Screw us. Yeah,
we understand. Bill Sarton, good evening to the 2 Bryans and all the Pendarians. Glad to have you here as always. And Sarah's taken up her duties. 5 are watching and only 2 have liked this show on YouTube. The Dark Mistress has returned. She has spoken. She is well rested, and she's kept that whip arm strong, if you know what I mean. She says this must be remedied. And Cindy Cap says, Brian, now in stereo. If you only have a mono stereo, set 2 radios 2 feet apart.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to your jokes, Cindy. I think they're going to be amazing.
There we go, as always. And there is Ted Davies. Ted's going to talk timepieces tomorrow morning. And also, don't forget, Friday at 6 p.m., a brand new show is starting on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, Drinking with the Davies, where they're going to investigate and bring to light old drinks that maybe have fallen out of favor.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, and also how to use more natural ingredients, maybe ways to up the flavor a little bit. And he's doing it with his wife, Chrissy, who is a delight.
All right, cool. Yeah. That sounds awesome. I will definitely be tuning in. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, me
what
too.
What time did you say it was?
6 p.m. Eastern.
All right.
Yeah, and followed that night by... the Historical Fencing Guild with Nick Tockard on his YouTube channel. Please check that out. And also, don't forget a little programming note. Don't forget tomorrow morning, like I said, at 10 a.m., Ted talks timepieces. He has an appreciation of fine wristwear. Please check him out. And also, Comic Book Spectrum. And you see half of them right here. That's going to be Thursday night at 7 p.m. along with Eric Hawkins and Clyde Hall, followed by Creative as Hale with our own darling author Amy Hale. Then at 9 p.m. is Stupid O'Clock with Joe Dog McKeel and the great cast that he's got on there. And thank you to everyone who has liked or loved this show so far. We do appreciate it. And Carl Wisman has just forgotten about the show entirely. We understand. And so has he. And never mind the Brian Rodman. Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's what I hear all the time. Whatever.
Yeah, I know. There's our fan club. Russell Allen. Russell, I hope you're doing well this morning, man. And there's a show. We thought so. What do we know? And the altar boy is here, and Brian squared, the best way to start a Tuesday evening. Thank you so much, Ted. And Jeffrey Hayes of Plasma Fire Graphics. Good evening, Brian times 2. Both Brians are too cool. Well, actually, he's like, I'm only half cool, but he's like 1.5 cool, and so that makes up for it.
Yeah.
Now, here we go. You are blessed, sir. With a Cindy
go.
joke, a Cindyism. Why did the wild Australian dog have no answer when he was asked if the party was good? Because he didn't go. And it begins.
Oh, Cindy. You have your jokes have my heart. I just want you to know that. That's great.
Seriously. And please sign up for her free monthly newsletter at ckoepp.com. It's a good newsletter.
It's a great newsletter. I absolutely love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I look at my newsletter and I put my heart into it and I'm like, oh God, but it's not Cindy's. Oh God.
Yeah, you really like, what is this smut? Oh
yeah,
God.
it's like, what am I doing?
I'll never live up to hers. Oh,
I know. Get out the whips and chains, not
there you go.
Careful, Christian, careful.
But and that's when Christian died.
That's when Christian died, exactly. And during the show, the chat is on their own. Have fun. And love you, Michaela. Glad you're here, and congrats on your successes, Rodman.
Thank you, madam. I appreciate that.
And maybe there's one for both of us. But anyways, Brian. Go, Brian. Get my pom poms out, and there we go. Everyone, and everybody's saying hello. And is there an issue 8 planned? Asks Cindy Cap.
Oh, madam, there's an issue 40 planned.
Liking this.
So how it works? Okay, I'll go ahead and just say it. So it's broken up into 4 books. There's 3 volumes per book. So we're on volume 2 of book 1 right now. So that just tells you just how broad the scape is. Everything's outlined. I actually have an ending. I know exactly what happens. There's like pivotal pillar plot points, and then I've got some dots that I'm gonna connect in between. I've left some room just for fun. I mean, I generally know I've outlined the whole series, so I know exactly what really needs to happen. But as a writer, as an artist, you want to leave some wiggle room you want to let the characters make some weird decisions that you didn't expect. But there's as essentially, to use some Doctor Who language here, there are fixed time points, throughout this book that these things absolutely have to happen. But how we get there may vary. So Excellent. We'll see. But yeah.
Excellent. Well, being an outliner myself,
mm-hmm.
I tell people that when I finish, like a draft, I'm a better writer than when I started. And frequently, we talk. You probably relate to this. We talk about the characters talking to us.
Yeah.
And they can take the story in way different paths than we originally intend. Now, what if these characters lead you away from your original ending? Are you going to force them to go where they belong, or are you just going to run with the flow and maybe get issue 50 out?
Well, there's already depends on how extreme it's going to be. If it's minor, then yeah, I'll roll with it. The ending is pretty fixed. So no matter what happens, the ending is going to still be the ending. Okay. But and you'll see what I mean when we get there. But I'm
on for the whole ride, brother. I'm on for the whole ride.
But no, yeah, I mean, there's already some like I said, just connecting the dots from big plot point to big plot point. I'm already wrestling with characters. That's already begun. Even characters that haven't even shown up in the actual issues yet. Just in my notes alone, characters are already fighting with me on who they are and what they're going to be and what they're going to do and how they're going to interact with one another. So it's already getting fun.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. And the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS says it's The Exorcist meets onion rings, I think.
Ooh, now I'm hungry. Now I want some White Castle or
let's go. Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Seriously. And Cindy Kep asks, what do you get when you cross a beetle and an Australian dog? Dingo Star.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
It just ain't a show unless we got Cindy here. I'm telling you, seriously. And Ted Davies actually has a question for you.
Oh.
Brian, aka the best beard in comics, what tablet and software do you use? And how does your lovely wife handle your talent? And how do you handle her being your muse? Be careful.
Wow. This is a kid show or a family show. This is not a kid show. What am I saying?
No. We have to check off that little box every time on Facebook.
Is not a children's show.
We are not.
If anybody watched this program this time last week, you'd know this is not a kid show.
No. Holy cats, no.
Which I will say this again. I really did almost black out laughing so hard at you guys last week. It was so funny. Oh man!
And thank you for being here. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
that was a fun show
man.
for me too.
Oh man! So okay, Ted. This right here.
Let me give you the whole screen on this, brother.
There we go.
All right, there we go.
So this guy right here, as you can see, I've started plotting one of the pages. Is a Huion. So it's essentially a cheap in price but not quality Wacom tablet, and what it does is essentially acts as a touchscreen monitor, and you hook it up to a PC or a laptop, and you have your little stylus pen, and I would say we got this for $325, which if you know digital tablets, Wacoms can cost in the thousands.
Yeah.
Wow. And
was
this
the picture on the tablet itself, or were you showing us your screen?
No, yeah. So this is the tablet itself.
Nice.
Yeah. So it is. So see here. We'll do story time like at the library. So like if I do that, look, it draws things.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and this right here is what I love about tablets. Is boop, it's gone.
Yeah.
That mistake is gone, and that makes me happy.
Oh,
but no,
beautiful.
yeah. But yeah, no, it's really inexpensive. Honestly, with the pen, the sensitivity on the drawing tablet it's just like actually it's smoother than paper. I actually prefer the last time I just grabbed a pencil and started sketching in my sketchbook, I was like, oh, it's not as easy. Right. As it doesn't glide as nice, and but the sensitivity level is perfect on this guy. So I mean, Huion, if you're watching, I'll be, you can sponsor me at any time, but until then I will still give you all the free shout outs, because my goodness, their product is great. If you're looking for a digital tablet, there's, in my opinion, from what I've experienced, there's nothing better as far as tablets are concerned. The software that I use is called Clip Studio Paint, and I have the EX Pro version. That'll run you about $90 to $100. And the best thing about it is a lot of times it will go on sale on Amazon, and it'll drop down to like $40.
Wow!
So if you can find it, and it's great. It's essentially Photoshop just for making comics. It used to be Manga Studios, and then they changed over to Clip Studio Paint. So, but yeah, I absolutely love it. That's what I use to make everything. So,
cool. And also we notice if you hold up your right hand.
Oh yes, this is what I call my hee glove, and I'm not trying to be like Michael Jackson, but I have this on to it protects the screen from getting all oily and gross and everything while I'm drawing. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, we have other parts that,
right.
How does your lovely wife handle your talent, and how do you handle her being your muse? You've already talked about the business aspect of your relationship, but now it's the creative.
Yeah. So,
Good question, Ted.
Yeah, great question. So she is great with how creative, my mind is. And I think a big part of it is we kind of look each other. Oh, how can I say this well? My strengths are her weaknesses, and her weaknesses are my strengths in many ways, but specifically when it comes to doing these comics together, because I'm the creative brain and she's the analytical side.
Mhm.
So, you know, we both adore that part of each other, and respect it very much. And so, really, I mean, as far as how she handles, I mean, she just she encourages my creativity. You know, she understands that I think differently than she does, and she's said so many times that, like, she's just like, how do you have an entire world in your head? And I was like, trust me, you don't want to be in here. And,
To which
but
one married couple can agree wholeheartedly on both sides. Yeah, I
exactly.
get it.
So, but no, and she's just, you know, and then of course I look at what she does with all her accounting stuff, and you know, she loves spreadsheets. She loves spreadsheets. How I like comics, and
Mhm.
she'll make a spreadsheet for anything, and I look at that and I'm like, oh, that pains me in my soul. But no, I mean, she's great at just encouraging me, and you know, good grief. Anytime I need to just kind of step away and go and create or write. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, you know, she wants to talk to me, but I'm in the middle of my writing zone, right? Like
Uh-huh.
I'm inspired. I have to write, I have to draw, whatever. And she respects that space, and she doesn't have to,
Yeah.
because I know how that can be frustrating. It frustrates me too, because there's
Sure.
plenty of times I'd rather be hanging out with her, but I've got to capture that moment, or I'll lose it. You know how
Yeah.
that goes.
Oh yeah.
And so it's, but yeah, no, she's great. And as far as her being my muse, good grief, she can do no wrong in my eyes. I love that woman. She inspires me in pretty much every way to not only be a better artist but a better man. She's fantastic. I would say, you know, I'd love to bring her on, but she hates being in front of the camera. Absolutely hates it. She did not enjoy doing the Facebook Live thing, but you know, she does that because she feels like she should,
Yeah.
so, but she does a
She was
great
so
job.
good though. She
She does
really
a
was
great
good.
she does a great job, but she just doesn't enjoy it. So,
Well,
you
well,
said Cookie's similar to that too. She just
oh
doesn't,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I've got an easier task of turning base metals into gold than I do of getting her to show up other than her hands on the screen. So yeah,
Yeah,
I totally get that.
yeah.
And speaking of getting it, there's Russell Allen saying, coming up next, Memoirs of Dino Porn. Dynamite! That's right.
Starring Christian Basil.
And then he died. Uh, and Sarah says, "Oh, I'm so glad to see you, hon. I'm glad you're okay. There's a
Mhm.
comic book series after my own heart, Mr. Rodman. Very cool description about what's on Kickstarter."
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sarah. And yeah, I'm glad you're back too. We've missed you. We've missed
No,
you very
no, we
much.
have. You add a lot here, hon. I'm glad to see you here. And here we go. And again, everybody's okay. Here we go. Cindy Caput has a hard hitting question for you. Better brace yourself,
All
Brian.
right.
Which is your favorite Muppet?
The Muppet, good grief. I just got so excited that I couldn't talk. Did you see that?
No.
From a Muppet Christmas Carol, the Ghost of Christmas Present
Yes.
is my favorite Muppet. And it's funny because I feel like I'm slowly turning into him the older that I get, which I'm totally fine with.
Yeah.
But if my beard starts turning red and my hair starts getting longer, look out, because I'm
I
gonna
know.
start singing Christmas carols and walking around the streets of London.
Just start building. Just buy that fattest goose right now before the rush. I'm telling you, it'll make your night a lot better. And Jeff Goulet, greetings and salutations to you. Glad to see you here. Sarah says 11 are watching and only 5 have liked, and she's pulling out the whip.
There it is. Look out,
Boom, chick,
guys.
boom, chicka, wow, wow. And Bill Sarton says, Brian Rodman, would you consider doing any other comic series? And if so, would you do it in a different genre than horror fantasy?
That's a great question. I would consider doing another comic book series. As a matter of fact, I learned something the other
Yeah.
night,
Okay.
Brian,
What?
that
Yeah.
we will both be very excited about.
Okay.
And that is that in, I think, 2027, The Shadow will be in the public domain.
Ooh. Ooh,
Yeah,
ooh. Save it
that's only
from Mr. Patterson. Yeah.
that is only 6 years away. So that makes me
Ooh.
really happy. And that will answer your question. Is that would be the comic series that I would do my own version of. However, it would be in horror fantasy genre. So I would be willing to do another one, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I've not really thought about that. I do know that I really I'm drawn towards horror and fantasy, either just fantasy or just horror or together. I think I could probably do. I would love to do comedy in comics. I think that would be a lot of fun. Kaylin Smith's book, if you watched Comic Book Spectrum this past week, for goodness sake, her volume 3 is actually launching on Kickstarter tomorrow. But her first 2 volumes are available on our website, and they're hilarious. They're so good. And I had never really thought about doing a comedy, just a straight comedy series as a comic book. Until I read those, and I may do that one day. I think that would be the genre I would lean into, because I used to write. I used to do theater. I used to write a lot of comedy sketches and things like that. For a local theater, and I had a ball doing that. So to kind of take those ideas and those talents and bring it into the comic book medium would be a blast.
That would. I'm excited hearing that. Now, what about the Nebulizer?
Now, the Nebulizer is a comedy.
Yes.
It is okay. So it is actually, it's not horror fantasy. It's more action adventure comedy. So I guess that technically is, but it does have that fantasy,
It's also post-apocalyptic, I think.
It is it's post-apocalyptic. It's in
these things, kid. You talk about getting your money's worth
in some just ridiculous ways. Because with the Nebulizer, a nuclear explosion hit, and when that happened, everything that was on the microscopic level merged with everything that's on the macro level. So the main character, his name's Connor, and he's in this suit that's a nebulizer suit that just helps him breathe, keeps him alive, and it's run by an AI named Albie. And the reason his name is Albie is because when he kind of helped raise Connor, he's always been with him, and when they met, he saw on the programming that it was ALB1, which stands for albuterol 1. But Connor was a little boy, and just thought it said Albie. So Albie, being a very nice AI, said, that is absolutely what you can call me. So now that that Connor's an adult and Albie's in the suit with him, they're just witty banter, arguing back and forth while they're blowing up these allergen mutants, because these dust mites merged with people to create these nasty allergen mutants, and Connor calls them mite heads. So that's a little taste of what's to come in the spring with the Nebulizer. It's a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun to write. I tell you what, being in isolation because of my asthma, for the last year, good grief, right. It was great therapy just to write that story out, man. It was so much fun.
Oh, I bet. And Michaela's ready for her first whipping. Come on, Michaela. There we go. We'll give you a whipping as a reward for liking this. Anyway, and Michaela, come and get me. And yes, and Mr. Rodman asks Sarah, what is the artwork above the picture collage behind you?
So that right there. Okay, so you're going to start seeing a theme here. That's Batman. That's Batman and Robin. That's Ninja Turtles and The Godfather. And then in the center there is actually the little one right here is a picture of Captain America that my dad drew me. Nice. And then of course you see Batman and the issue. This is one of my pride and joys. This is issue 1 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, graded and awaiting Kevin Eastman's signature whenever he comes back to Lexington.
Oh, nice.
So yes.
Wow.
And now now you've taken a private tour, and then of course I got Leonardo just chilling back here on top of my armchair.
Yeah, and so the question is, like, who is your favorite character and why is it Millie the model? So we get that. Yeah, there we go. That's the stuff we don't show. Anyway, Jeff Goulet says, does anyone think that Robert Kirkman sounds like Brian?
That actually, I have been. I actually thought that the first time I heard Robert Kirkman speak, and it's funny. We are both from the same area. He
That's right.
grew up around like an hour and a half, 2 hours from me. So we are from the exact same place. So that's probably why we sound so similar.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
It's great.
because I think he's from Richmond, Kentucky, and
Okay.
I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
All right.
So yeah, about an hour and a half away.
Very cool. Cindy Kemp would like to know how much research was needed for the spiritual warfare.
It's ongoing. I mean, if about 4 years of Bible college, and then plus however many years since just reading. I just picked up a new theology book on the sovereignty of God that's 750 pages long, and I'll be starting that tonight. So it's. I mean, you look everywhere, all over my office, and you've got commentaries on different books of the Bible, a lot of stuff on Revelation, a lot of stuff on original languages and things like that. So yeah, it's good because for me, like obviously I'm a Christian. I love to know why I believe what I believe. I'm fascinated with what I believe,
Right.
and I want to know, right? Like I don't want to just walk into this blindly. Like if it's the truth, I want to make sure I know it's the truth. And so I love, just for my personal growth and walk with God, I want to know what the Bible actually says, what it actually does mean when it says these things that people just don't really understand. And the information's out there. You just got to go find it, and it's not hard to find.
Right.
But it's just looking in the right places.
Right.
But yeah, it's a dual level thing for me. I love studying this for my own faith, but I love studying it because of the comic, and I just pour what I believe into this, and it's fun. So
That's great. That's great. Amanda Talker, good to see you, Amanda. Amanda says, "Hey, my Overdrive app just crashed and lost my place before. Digital bookmarks might help."
there we go.
There we go. The marketplace is calling to you, Brian. And let's see, Carl Wisman says, "Oh, Mr. Rodman thinks he's ready for us, really? As Christian found out, don't challenge the chat."
Now, look, I don't want to control the chat. Screw that. No, I learned that from Christian last week.
Yeah. The minute he said that last week, no. Stop typing, and I'm like, oh no.
See, but all that did was it just fueled us because we were like, "Oh, sir, we've only just begun."
That's right. Oh, that was so funny. Oh, here we go. Now, the Legend of Traveling TARDIS has a hard-hitting question here.
Oh no.
Forget I don't brace yourself. Forget Kickstarter, Rodman. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Whatever you tell me to do, baby. That's all I have to say. Hashtag Dino Porn, 50 Shades of Christian.
Someone dial 911 for Christian, please. And Carlene says he asked for it. Get him!
Bring it on, guys. Let's go. This will be fun.
God. Oh, I'll be leaving, man. I
feel bad for Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, you think I'm behind now. Now, Cindy Kemp no, what's small, furry, and bright purple? A koala holding its breath.
I love those kind of jokes, like the ones that have a dark ending. That makes me laugh even more.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Nothing like pulling the rug out from you when you see a glimmer of hope. Yeah. And Sarah says, "I would be a cheap date for a mint Klondike bar, Christian." Okay, show's over, guys.
Yep, there you go.
Actually, one of the best things I ever had in my life was a restaurant in downtown Chicago, where they made their own mint ice cream sandwiches.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the fat kid in me. Just let's be honest, the fat kid that I am, it makes me very, very happy right there.
It's like we're pushing maximum density on this broadcast. You know what I'm saying, Brian? I understand.
Yeah, I know. Earlier when Ted was like, "It's Brian squared," I was like, "No, I feel like it's more like a round Brian."
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's what's happening over here. I'm just saying.
There you go. Nicholas Stocker said, "I'm so glad to hear the Bible described by folks who've actually read it."
It's funny how that works, huh?
Yeah. Well, and for the record, I've read it several times myself. So, and Carl Westman says someone stole my last Klondike bar, not mentioning names.
Brian, how dare you, sir?
I didn't do a thing. I swear I was playing poker with 3 nuns at the time. And Sarah challenge accepted. We could be having a lot of things going on here tonight. This could get wicked. Bill Sargent says, being a Christian, have you or would you consider witnessing in one of your books? That's a super question, Bill.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think in a way the whole series is that. But it's not like if you ever, it's not in the sense like, if you go to a mall and you got those guys that are like handing out tracts, and that's not at all. I would not do that. I don't, because I think in our culture, where we're at, that's just not helpful. It's creepy in a lot of ways. People are very turned off immediately by that. I'm turned off by that. I don't enjoy that, and so I think how I would go about doing that is how I'm doing it is essentially taking what I believe and telling a good story and not preaching through it at all. But just, when you read the story, it's there, it's subtle, it's there. And you can pick up on the themes, you can pick up on what the story is about without the dialogue just coming out and saying it right in your face. I think that's a part of good storytelling. And that's what I craved for so long that I never really found. That's why I just went out and did it, because I would always, find. I think the only person, if you're familiar with this author, the only person that ever came close was Frank Peretti. And he came close, but his stuff, he was still very steeped in the Christian subculture, very cheesy language and things like that. So, right, yeah. But yeah, no, if let's see, in issue 1. Just to kind of set the tone of everything, after a huge bar fight where people get stabbed in the face with crosses and whatnot, you've got, people on stakes, rotting corpses. So yeah, this is not for kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say, good wholesome book for all ages.
Indeed, yeah. And that's the thing. It's not gore for gore's sake either. There is an intentional reason why I put that stuff in there, because I think it's good to show that stuff. It's good to make evil as you could possibly make it. That way, good is that much more powerful when it shows up.
Exactly. And we just had our first comment dump. Hurrah! There it is. And let's see. Now I'm trying to get back to where we were.
We have been dumped upon, Brian.
I know. I know. Okay, we got it here. Nicholas Tockert says, you have an amazing story and there are not enough passion projects. That is very true. Pops and said, good to see you. Carl Westman has a great question here. How did the Dastardly Dingoes start?
Right. So, okay. A friend of mine who is not in the Dastardly Dingoes, we were doing Facebook movie reviews. It was just called Two Dudes Reviews. And we would go to the movies. We would walk out of the movie and we would get on Facebook Live and tell everybody what we thought about it. We had pretty good chemistry and we were pretty funny. We decided we wanted to do a podcast that was just that. And we talked about it for a little while. We brought our buddy Justin on, and then they just kind of went nowhere. So Justin and I, so if you listen to, actually the first season of the Dingoes is just a podcast. It's just audio. And it's out there, it's available. And it's me, Justin, and Jeremy, because we needed, Justin and I wanted to do the podcast, but we didn't know how, and we didn't really have time. And Jeremy had been wanting to do a podcast for the longest time. He had all the equipment, super professional. He'd been editing podcasts professionally. And so he had all this stuff. And so he was like, I'll produce it. So we're like, okay, cool. So that's how it started. And then Justin didn't really want to do the podcast anymore. So Jeremy and I started the YouTube channel, and here we are.
That's right. and a little shout out to Jeremy Woodring. Go to jeremywoodring.com and inquire about his rates for video editing. I can tell you they're very reasonable, very competitive. Excuse me. And here's a follow-up question from the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Why Dastardly Dingoes? How did you pick that name?
Because, what was it? There was another one. There was another name that we really wanted to do. I don't remember what it was now, but it was taken.
Okay.
And so the Dastardly Dingoes was just another name that we thought was ridiculous and fun, and it has no meaning. It was just like, that sounds stupid. Let's do that. and then I drew our little mascot on a post-it note, and we were hooked. We were like, there it is. This is it. So that's why.
very, very cool. Bill Sarden asks, what comics from your youth do you consider an inspiration for getting into creating your comics?
Ooh, Sin City is probably the top one. I know I loved, I mean, the first comic that I fell in love with comics with was Death of Superman. I was, oh gosh, I don't know, 6 or 7 when I first got it. And I didn't really I learned how to read using that book. Well, I knew how to read, but I know, but that's hopefully if I was 6, I knew how to read, but I'm still learning. No. But as you know, I learned how to read, better. And I would actually, this is super nerddom right here. I would go in my parents' room. I had a little tape recorder and I would record my own audiobooks from the Death of Superman doing all the voices.
Oh, nice.
And then I would play it back and read the comic. So yeah, that was Death of Superman really got me into comics. Batman the Animated Series though is what really got me into loving comics and animation at the same time. But Frank Miller's Sin City, Frank Miller's Daredevil were the two pivotal comics where I realized, okay, this is what comics can be, and I think this is what I want to do with my life. Because what he was doing at that time in comics was just no one had really done something like Sin City before. Maybe Will Eisner had similar things, and that was his mentor. But Alan Moore had absolutely pushed the limits too. But I don't know. For me, it was Frank Miller's Daredevil, and then Sin City.
Very cool. Very cool. Cindy Kemp would like to know, and this is she's not asking for a friend. What is the biggest tip you have for someone who needs to run a Kickstarter?
The biggest tip: build a solid community base that will back you, and that will cheerlead your project. That I think is the most pivotal thing on Kickstarter. Period. That's where you start. That's where you end. It's the people who are around you.
Yeah, definitely. And the Eric Hawkins says digital is the bomb, and overall it's cheaper than Bristol and inks.
It is, man. There for a time when I was doing traditional comic, I was just creating traditionally. I mean, we're talking $200 trips to the art store at a time. It was nuts. That stuff is not cheap at all.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can buy typing paper.
Oh, right. No, I mean, I was using
Furthmore,
I was using the traditional comic book, 11 by 17, size, 17, pages. I mean, that stuff is not cheap at all.
No, it's not. Eric Hawkins suggests, so print a few pages out on Bristol in blue line, then ink. Instant originals.
I've actually heard that. So thank you for reminding me, Eric. I actually completely forgot about that. So good point.
Yeah, very good, Eric. And Sarah is practicing to take my job. She's totally listening to the verbal conversation and paying attention to the chat conversation at the same time, which
your protege, sir. There you go.
I know. This is my Padawan here, I'm telling you. And Cindy Kemp would like to know, of all the Kickstarters you've seen, what is the most peculiar thing you've seen as a reward?
Oh, as a reward? Peculiar? I don't know. Most of them are kind of the same. There was one, and I didn't back this project, but I did see it, and I thought that this reward was kind of fun. It was an adult comic that was being funded, and you could be drawn into one of the scenes, and it was a scene. If you know what I'm talking about. And I was just like, yeah. And I was like, well, that's weird. So, yeah, I was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So
Would you like to be in the panel with the chandelier or as the goat? Yeah.
yeah, it was, man. I was just like, huh. Okay, we're just gonna move on. It was like that's a strange thing, but okay.
Christian will be asking for the link.
Exactly.
Bill Sarton asks, what app do you recommend for beginners at digital artwork?
I would say Clip Studio, just regular Clip Studio. There's a free version of it as well, just kind of bare bones, just to help you get used to it. And then I think the basic level that you can pay for is like $10-20. So yeah, I would absolutely recommend that, because that way you can get used to it and get used to all the tools, and then when you get better, you can just level up and use the same program.
Oh, very cool. Hey, Dan Hollyfield, how are you tonight? One of the members of Stupid O'Clock right there. So.
Ah, yes. Hello, sir.
And a great musician. He took one of the things I said last week on the show and turned it into a song.
Oh, I remember you talking about that.
Yes. I have it posted on my page. Please buy that music. And Sarah asks, I hope you got that screenshot, Carl. Double the fun. And yes, of course he did. Of course he did. And Rick Bradley, good morning to you. It's probably morning somewhere.
Hello,
and JD Calderon. Hello, gentlemen. JD, how you doing?
JD, oh my gosh.
Yeah, post links to your show, brother. Seriously.
I was on that man's show on Sunday night. And I laughed so hard half that time, because Varian was on the show with us.
Oh dear.
And I don't know how many sponsors Indie Vault has now, but they recently picked up Crayola as a sponsor.
Oh, nice.
And we've been making fun of him for how he was plugging sponsors the last time we were all together.
Right.
And the man's just sitting there real chill. You know, he has his microphone like right here.
Right.
And it gets to his turn to talk, and he just kind of looks at the screen and goes, well, before I talk, let me lift this microphone up. And it was a box of Crayola crowns, and he gave the pitch. And I was like, this guy, I lost it. It was hilarious. And then today, the man sends me a message on Facebook of him down a Crayola aisle. Oh, it was too funny.
Oh, that's great. Attention Crayola, we could use some more sponsors too, you know?
Hey, share the love. We're here.
Yeah, please. And before and after Brian pictures, you decide which is which. And thank you for liking and sharing, Carly. I appreciate it. Yes, that's sweet. I agree. Thank you, Sarah. And Cindy Cap asks, what do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? A stick.
Sorry, I read ahead.
Oh, vaudeville isn't dead. This is just how it smells. And Trevor Hawkins, good to see you tonight. Hope you're having a great night. And Sarah's saying hello to Trevor and to JD. And woohoo, everybody's saying hello. And yes, and what's your favorite MOAA character?
Oh, gosh.
Which one is your favorite one to you could also break it down to who's your favorite to write and who's your favorite to draw.
Yeah, I think I know who my favorite is going to be. And I can't say because of spoilers. But now, where we're at in the series, I think my favorite to draw is Moriel, who is the Blue Angel. Yeah. And my favorite to write, probably Zexus, the villain. I think I love writing villains. I really do, because it's almost like it's just you can tap into that just awful place in your heart that you would never go to in any other circumstance and be like, how horrible can I make this person?
Yeah.
And then just let it all out. And I think that, you know, there was a scene that I wrote in issue 5, sorry. At the end when we introduce Zexus and he's possessing the boy that Akalian and Moriel are trying to save, and I had Zexus. He was giving this just long, you know, gruesome speech, and the boy is imprisoned and he whimpers, and Zexus rips his throat out. And then slowly puts it back together just to show him that he can. And I was like, that is just awful and grotesque. And I would never do anything like that to anybody, but he does. And so, I think it's just so much fun to write villains.
It is. It is. Sarah says, "Oh, ditto. Next time I'll let people know when I'm in my dungeon away from being plugged in. Please do, hon. We worry about you. And I've been keeping my whips leather condition." Well, see, this show brings you the good news, you know? It's not just John Krasinski. And hello from Michaela to Keisha. And Cindy Cap asks, "Why did the emu cross the road?" To prove he wasn't a chicken. And Rick Bradley, 2 Brians in one night, my head hurts.
Ours does too, don't worry.
Yeah, it ain't just you, believe me. And don't forget to tip your host. Thank you very much, Cindy. And this, and also thank you for that. We do have a tip jar. PayPal.me/Rising Tide, capital B, capital K, capital M. Or you can support either one of us, or even better, all 2 of us, or even better, all 3 of us on Patreon. Because we all have Patreon pages where if you support what we do, whether it's Animal Eye or Memoirs of an Angel or The Rising Tide, even $1 a month gets you something, something really cool. So please check us out. CKOEPP on Patreon. You're Brian Rodman, right?
Last time I checked,
okay, yeah,
I'm Brian. Okay,
excellent. That solves another mystery. Thank you. I'm Robert Stack for America's Great Mysteries. Anyway, and I'm Brian K. Morris, all lowercase. Please look for us, and I suppose the Dark Pope allows mercy, not in the Dark Church of the Rising Tide. He doesn't
win, sir. That is good grief.
He has a reputation to live down to. And Cindy Campbell says, "Don't forget to tip the guest." Yeah. That's right. Yeah, go to her Patreon page and tip her. And sometimes, but Bill Sargent says never tip the cow.
Always tip the cow, but then help the cow back up.
Exactly.
It's only nice.
It's only fair.
Yeah.
For shame on them. Well, I have my whip at the ready and relieving the Dark Pope from being merciful. I love using the whip. This show may come to an end early. And Bob's Van Zandt is now talking to us first on Facebook and now on YouTube. Don't forget to check out CromCon coming soon to a weekend near you.
And I was on the last CromCon. It was a ton of fun. So definitely check it out.
I was on the one before that. So yeah, it is a good time. And Pops is getting the love from Sarah. And Rick Bradley, cross between The Exorcist and Onion Rings. Your mother breads onions in hell.
There's a meme that's called the Dyslexorcist, and it's her, and it's just her looking at the screen, and it says, "Your mother cooks socks in hell." And it's the Dyslexorcist, and I was like, bah!
Oh my god! And Carl Winters says, "We aim to entertain or suffocate." That makes sense.
Either one.
That's right. And man, what is Rodman talking about of last week's show? Now I have to go back and watch. I went to almost pass out from laughing too. The guest was a jerk. This is
just a horrible human being. I don't know why you had him on the show.
I don't either. The interviewers were great. And the audience was on mark, especially when Christian slipped up and said, "Stop typing." But yeah, boy, made a mistake even I wouldn't make. But no, it was a week ago was my 65th birthday, and I'm still celebrating. But last week's show was sheer anarchy. Sarah, you will love it. I promise you. It is in our archives.
So funny.
It was a great time. And I generally don't go back and watch my old shows. So
I've watched that at least in whole or part like 2 or 3 times since last week. It was so funny.
It was great. It was like, a night of comedy. I was like hurting from the end of it too. And Carl Wilson says, "Dark Mistress, you'll want to go back and watch last week's clever title pending." Yes. And Pops loves Sarah too. We all do. And thank you, Sarah. Jeff Goulet, is the glove for smooth movement over the screen?
Yes, it is. That is mostly what it is, but it's also, I have oily skin, so it helps prevent the oils from getting on there.
Yeah, very good, very good. Eric Hawkins says, "Huion is pretty good. I've had mine for 2 years now. I have the Canvas GT 191.
Yeah, I have the 13-inch version of that, and it's great.
I'm going to write that down, Huey, on because Cookie is doing stuff.
That's right. She's doing colors and things like that now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, she's working on it right now while she's ignoring me. And Cindy Kemp says, aside from the tablet, what is your favorite techie toy?
Favorite techie toy? Aside from my tablet, it's probably gonna be, I'd say probably just my phone. I know that's lame, but like our phones can do so much now. Like literally everything that I would need to do that's not on my tablet, I can do on this thing.
Yeah.
So nope, I take that back. My favorite techie toy is this guy. Is a literal techie toy. It's a Super Nintendo classic.
Oh.
It has like 50 games from Super Nintendo on there. That's what I play. I don't like game. I don't play like Xbox or PlayStation, 4 or 5 or 56, whatever number they're on now. I just go back because I don't have time. So I just go back to the good old days when I was a child. And I had a handheld one of the original Nintendo as well. So those are my favorite tech toys. So
Very
good question.
cool.
Thank you, Cindy.
That's excellent. Yes. And Cindy Cap also asks, why did the dingo cross the road twice? Because he was a double crosser.
That shifty, dastardly dingo.
That's right. That's right. And I've read this before, but here we go. I can do this. I'm not looking at.
Oh, good luck,
Ted
sir.
Talks timepieces. The timepieces that Ted talk. That Ted totally talk time to the timepieces that talk the Ted. Thank you.
Well done, sir. I would just have a stroke by the end of that. That's what that would happen.
I figure in about 45 minutes I can do that too. So that'll be great. I'm looking forward to it too. Cindy Kemp says, "Do you draw to tunes? Do you listen to anything or any sort of radio? What do you tend to listen to when you create?"
I go through cycles of different things. I listen to podcasts, different kinds of podcasts. A lot of times, a lot of clever title pendings. I'm drawing while I'm listening to the sultry tones of Brian K. Morris, and and also Lord of the Rings soundtracks. Some of my favorite, listening. I've recently got into like lo-fi music.
Oh yeah,
which is really like soothing and helps me concentrate. But I love listening to podcasts, I think, more than anything else. Just it keeps my mind going, especially when I'm coloring, because coloring I can just zone out and color and shade and highlight and all that stuff, and really like it helps me focus on actually what I'm listening to. And that's a lot of times I'll listen to lectures from scholars that usually have to do with theology or doctrine or something like that, and or just fun stuff like this.
Of course.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. And Cindy Kemp says, what's a koala's favorite drink? A Coca-Cola. We are going to have Cindy back on here so soon.
I feel like Cindy, okay, what was it? Was it yesterday when you mentioned that Cindy should have her own show?
Yeah.
Okay, Cindy, this is what you should do. Just make them short and just joke time with Cindy or something like that. That's your show, because I would watch that every day. That would be hilarious.
I would definitely subscribe and share on that one. That's
absolutely.
And Cindy Cap says, you have many geeky things in the background. What is your favorite fandom?
I
you had to pick one.
I think it's tied between comics and animation. One really can't go without the other, in my opinion. One will always inspire the other. I've noticed. I love traditional animation. Don Bluth films were some of my biggest inspirations. The Secret of Nim. If I could pick an animation team to take Memoirs, because eventually what I would like to do, if it were to ever become a live action thing, it would have to be like crazy big budget and get studios involved, and who wants that? Right. So I would rather do it like an animated show or film. That would be the dream, for me with Memoirs. I would love to just hand it to the team that did The Secret of Nim and just say, go for it. Just do it. And it would be beautiful. But yeah, I would say animation and comics. Yeah.
There you go. Very good answer. Well, he could be like Glenn B. Fleming, who's teaching himself animation right now.
Yeah, I have the tools.
Yeah.
I actually specifically bought this version of Clip Studio because it has animation in it. So I'm gonna start playing around with that soon.
There you go.
Yeah, and I have a when you have a heavy hitter like Jeremy Woodring in your corner, you really can play with all this stuff, and you're gonna have a pretty good safety net when you say, "Hey, help me."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Bill Sargent says, I remember O.J. Simpson doing commercials for Dingo cowboy boots back in the 70s, but we probably shouldn't go there. Yeah.
70s OJ, maybe it's fine.
Yeah, that was safe.
Yeah.
That's don't throw away your copies of Naked Gun. Anyway, Nick Tucker wants to know what brand name is your glove. I have had trouble finding one that fits.
It is a Huion brand. It came with the tablet.
Wow.
Yeah. So and it's great. It's just it's all elastic, and that's silky. I don't really know what the material is, but it's stretchy, and it fits my hand very well. So
sweet.
There you go.
Sweet. Cindy Kemp asks, what animal can jump higher than the Sydney Harbour Bridge? The answer is all animals, because bridges can't jump. What were you thinking, people?
You idiots. What are you simpletons out there?
That's right. Shame on you people. Get out of here.
You're bad and you should feel bad.
That's right. Come to us for more life hacks. And Sarah says, I love the way Ted asks questions to get to the inner gooey parts of people from the crunchy outer layer. Ted talks his way through to the inner goo.
And let me tell you something. This is how fat I am. She said that, and I got hungry. I was like, "Ooh, I want some Pop-Tarts." Like, what is this? This is sad. I need to go on a diet. My goodness.
You better straighten up, pal.
No, ma'am. I was never talking about you. I love you. Don't hurt me.
I was talking about you, and I said I love you too. No, you were awesome, Robin. This is Robin Rodman, who you may notice.
This is who puts up with me. This is who. Let's see if I can get this right. This is who puts up with me every day, every night. Pray for her.
I can't even count how many prayer circles Cookie's in. And I'm glad you're here, Robin. Thank you for letting me have your husband for a couple hours. Girl Wisdom says, don't say things like that, Sarah. I'm going to be one of the next people to get drilled, I think. Ooh. Anyway, Rick Bradley says, Sarah, we have missed our Dark Mistress. Welcome back. Now, Cindy Kemp wants to know, what is your favorite snack?
Oh. Okay, so again, I'm a fat kid. So when I think, I go hard with snacks, right? So I'm thinking like wings are a meal and a snack.
That's true. You're multitasking.
Exactly. You get more done and you live less. But you know what? I'll die doing what I love, and that's eating cake. So there we go.
There we go. And, since he's working on the computer, he can work faster, so he might actually live long enough to get the 40 issues.
That's the goal. I'm not kidding you. We were releasing one issue a year up until this year. Now we're releasing, 3 or more. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I'm 34. There's like 40 to 50 issues in this series. One a year isn't going to cut it. You're going to run out of Brian eventually. So it's like, so we're going to need to start putting some more out here. So that thought did cross my mind.
Yeah. I remember I was sitting on somebody's show one time, and there was somebody with me who I'd never met before, and they were saying it took me like 15 years to do this comic book, and I'm like, I'm in my mid-60s right now. I'm not going to buy your book, because if I get hooked on this damn thing, I'll be dead by the time the next issue comes out. So that's not a selling point for your older audience. So,
but you guys don't have to worry about that with Memoirs of an Angel, because we're going to be doing a quarterly release now.
There you go. Excellent. Very cool. You heard it here, folks. Keep him to it. Trevor Hawkins says the Dark Pope needs to preserve his crunchy layer.
Indeed.
Boy, this show go to hell fast. Anyway, and Nick Tucker says, I am stupidly excited about the nebulizer. I am too.
I am too.
Book.
It's going to be a blast.
It's going to be fun. So much fun. I'm looking forward to that. Cindy Cap, what do you call call if a baby kangaroo is lazy? A pouch potato.
Well done, madam. Well done. Well done.
That's our girl. That's our girl. And Rick Bradley says the nebulizer is Fallout meets Mel Brooks.
That's a really good explanation. I've been calling it the Bubble Boy. It's Bubble Boy meets Mad Max is what I've been saying. So that's, very similar tone to what you just said.
And we have a joke here who Trevor Hawkins is trying to work Cindy's side of the street. Why don't Australians let their wild dogs hang out their car windows? Because no one likes door dingoes.
There it is. Nice.
And Sarah says, that's an epic looking Batman above your head. I love Batman too. I am getting the 80-year anniversary book of Batman. Ooh, you're going to love that book.
Nice.
Seriously, that is an awesome book. I've read it online. Robin Rodman says it's Batman with a multicolored drip painting of a skyline in the background.
See, she explains everything much better than I do. We should just get her on in here. Robin! No.
It's been nice knowing you, Brian. There'll be nothing left of Brian but a fine red mist in a memory. Getting the 80-year anniversary book of Superman as well, Brian with a Fez. Both coming hardbound in a slipcover for my birthday. Can't wait. Well, happy birthday in advance.
That's so
Sarah.
cool.
That is cool. And Shaggy Cordy is here. Andy,
hello,
glad
sir.
to see you, brother. Sup, guys? Sorry I'm way late, sir. You're worth waiting on. Glad you're here. Bill Sargent says, I think we need more Brians. Bill Sargent says, I think Brian Rodman sounds like a young Tom Hanks. Brian say, there's no crying in baseball.
There's no crying in baseball. I love that movie.
Wow. Holy cats, you close your eyes. And I'll be Peter Scolari, and we're going to reenact scenes from Bosom Buddies next. And hello. Yes, it's very cool. You will enjoy. And she's got the Catwoman, Joker, and Harley Quinn. Time for Batman and Superman, of course. Nice. And Nick Tucker says, see, Christian said, I love you, but stop talking. And thus came the wrath.
Indeed, it was wonderful. Oh, Robin has arrived.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, Robin.
Come here.
Yes, Robin, please grace us with your presence. Hi, Robin.
Hi.
Say hi. Oh. Didn't know you were going to stick the microphone there. I was yelling. Hi.
Hi, it's good to see you. We get to see the lovely Robin.
I can hear him if I do this.
Awesome.
Surgery will be beginning soon to separate the two.
Right. He said,
thank you, Robin. We all love you.
You're fine.
She's like, you pay, Brian. You'll pay for.
Oh, yes.
That idiot. Anyway, and Sarah says, "Oh, look at that love from Rodman to Christian. Is it getting steamy in here, fan self?" And
it is.
Yes, and what did I miss? Absolutely not. You missed Robin.
Love. You missed
man.
Love, Christian.
Boom chicka wow wow kind of love. Oh yeah. And Sarah Robin will never come close to you or anywhere near me for that matter.
That's what you think. Look outside your window at 2 a.m.
Look at the foot of your bed about 2 a.m. You think Santa Claus knows if you've been naughty or nice.
I know you've been very naughty.
Get ready for that coal in your stocking. Yes, I think it's code.
If
anyway,
you wake up with no kidney, don't worry about it.
That's what I say every time I wake up in the bathtub full of ice. But anyway, Grant Langford is here. Grant is part of the tour with Brian and Russell Allen these days. Grant, it's good to see you. MonarchPublishing.net. And it's nice that someone can talk about their religion without thumping of the process. That's great, Sarah. Thank you for appreciating.
I've also found that when you hit people in the face with Bibles, it usually charges follow, and I don't really want to mess with that. So,
He's going to charge you the Bible anyway. Shaggy Cordy says, through Lent, I'm trying not to back as many comics on crowdfunding because I'm addicted, but I'm happy to say I backed the first day.
Yes, he did, and thank you so much, sir. It was great to see your name pop up there. I really appreciate it.
Very, very cool. And Sarah says, nice, Shaggy. It'd be cool to see your collection. And there she is. There's our girl with that Bitly address for Kickstarter. Thank you, Robin Rodman, for that great assist there. And yep, I knew it. We're getting another comment dump. We're not doing too bad. We've only had 2 of them tonight. So
all right, cool.
Yeah, and Christianity is about faith, not Bible thumping, says the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. I think that's as good way to say it as any. Not for kids, asked Rick Bradley. I read crazier things growing up, which explains a lot about me.
See, and this, okay, so I would agree with you, Rick. Like, I grew up, when I grew up, I read and watched things that now, if you showed a child, you would go to jail for.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, we need that back. Kids need to be introduced to these things, specifically like horror stuff, like the scary stories you tell in the dark.
Yeah.
My gosh, that was great. And it was controversial when it came out.
Right.
You know, I mean, I remember it was banned from my library when I was a kid. And man, I loved those books. But no, I agree. We need to introduce those things to children more.
For sure. And the Legend of Traveling TARDIS just took a comment dump on Brian's show. That's what I get for consuming Taco Bell. That'll teach you. And Shaggy Curry says, Brian, I tried to do the same thing with his book, The Manor.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
It's true. And Rick Bradley says, I'm just wishing a Kickstarter was over so I can get my copies in. I'm going to read this book now.
Well, don't worry. And just to give you some encouragement and confidence, the book will be done by the time that funds come in to us from Kickstarter. So we will be getting it to you very quickly. Promise.
Excellent. Yes. Good. That's good to hear. And Cindy Cap says, evil must be evil or there's nothing to compare good to.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. And Teresa Dunn has a brand new show Thursday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. And having you on my show would be so awesome. We'll contact this man.
Yes, we are actually. She's been hitting me up. We're gonna get that figured out soon for sure. So I'm looking forward to it, Teresa.
Yeah, and someone gave this video a thumbs down. That's fine with us.
It was it was because of me. No,
it couldn't have been you. It couldn't have been you at all. And Sarah says, "OMG!" Someone gave a thumbs down for shame. Brings out the cats of Nine Tails, and Trevor Hawkins is incensed as well. And what kind of music is Kangaroo's favorite one to listen to? Hip hop.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Cindy Cap. Oh my God. Oh, and just ignore him. That's just what we do, Carl. To heck with him. And here we go. Cindy Cap, what would your favorite pizza make turtles happy?
Absolutely. Actually, the reason I love pizza is because of the Ninja Turtles. So there we go.
And let's see. Here we go. If Cindy Cap asks, if you find gold in Australia, where should you look for silver? Australia. It's a periodic table joke.
I'm not smart enough to understand that one, sir.
That's why I'm helping. I'm here to help. It's the one joke I know. Get him, Sarah. Get him. And Cindy Cap says, how would you describe your art style? That's an excellent question. Yeah. Thank you.
I've actually I've been told this, and I agree. It is a blend between 80s and 90s animation and Mike Mignola. So yeah. I think that's the best way to describe it. I mean, you've seen it, Brian. Would you agree, or would you add to that?
I totally agree. I can see the Mignola influence. And for those of you who don't know, Mignola created the character Hellboy from the movies. There we go. There's his happy Hellboy mug, going right up into Brian's mug every now and then. But anyway, but no, it's kind of fun in our broadcasting here. I've noticed how many Mignola fans are out there.
Yeah,
I don't talk to a lot of them. Of course, we all bring up like Kirby and Buscema and Swan and people like that. But it's kind of fun. You see there is so much of Mike's work out there, and especially the early stuff that where he's drawing like anything he can get his hands on.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would say for me, and I know I've talked up Frank Miller's early stuff, and that remains. But for me, especially since I've been serious about comics, Mike Mignola has been my Kirby. That's he has, and I would say Hellboy. I've said this on. I think I may have said this on Comic Book Spectrum. Hellboy is my all-time favorite comic book series. Absolutely love it. All the spinoffs are fantastic. and really what I'm doing with Memoirs is similar to what he did with Hellboys. You know, he's taking the folklore from different countries, and just constructing this big overarching story with Hellboy in the center. And you know, that's what I'm doing with the Christian mythos, with the biblical, you know, because it's not just, I'm not just like retelling biblical stories or pulling theology. I'm also diving into those folk tales as well that New Testament writers, you know, thought of, like with the Nephilim and all that stuff. If you're familiar with any of those things, you know, you dive into their folklore, man, it's so interesting. And there's actually, I get so excited. There's a new horror movie coming out. I forgot what it's called, but it is based on Hebrew folklore. And
I saw the ad for that. I saw the trailer for that. That looks fascinating.
It looks so good. And I was like, the minute that I saw that it was based in Hebrew folklore, I was like, yes, because this is what I'm pulling from. So finally, like a horror movie that's really, you know, from that. So yeah.
That's exciting. That really is. Cindy Kemp also has an exciting statement here. Why did the manager fire the marsupial? Because he was qualified. Or hire the man he hired the marsupial. I'm sorry. Why did the manager hire the marsupial? Because he was qualified. I need to get new glasses. Anyway. And of course we've got the chat here. I don't TARDIS Christian Basil says, I don't want the show to end because Sarah is here. And Sarah says, I love when you enable me, my altar boy. Ooh, yeah. And, man, they'll deal with the love and the punishment, I think. Maybe, says Sarah. Sarah, promises. And Cindy Kemp wants to know, Brian, what is your favorite interesting non-art / writing hobby?
Oh, gosh. You know, that's hard because all those things really take up most of my life. I guess non-art or writing would be the podcast. You know, I love just talking nerd stuff with my friends. So Comic Book Spectrum, Dastardly Dingoes, that's my non-art or non-writing hobby. I mean, you could call it art, and there is writing in there too. Really, everything I do that's ever considered a hobby has one of those things in it. So that's what I gravitate towards. But I guess doing the podcast, broadcasting is really, I would say that's what that is. So yeah, it's a blast.
That's great. And then the Christian died. Says River Hawk. Good one, Trevor. Good one.
Well done.
Yeah, Cindy Kemp says, why does the cockatoo sit on the clock? So he'd be on time.
There you go.
Oh, man. And here we go. Legend of Traveling TARDIS abuses me once again. Welcome to another episode. Nevermind the Furthmore Wednesday edition. It's okay. Brian is just catching up on chats from yesterday. So it's okay if this is a day off. Arise Wednesday morning. Oh, I was starting to think last week may turn into that. So,
right. Yeah, and the week before, oh yes, clever title pending the extended cut was amazing.
It was great. Bobby Nash was fantastic.
It was a great show the whole time too. Like I ended up going back and finishing it. I stayed on till like 11 o'clock, and then I was like, I'm going to bed. I'll finish it later. And then I got on. It was close to midnight. I was like, there's no way. I was just curious. You guys were still going. I was like, good grief.
Yeah. Oh, Bobby's got more stamina than I do. And Moriel asked Rick Radley, does he have a sister named L'Oreal? I couldn't help myself. How hard did you try?
See, now I have to do a spoof ad of Moriel doing a L'Oreal shampoo commercial. That would be fun. Indeed, yes. Yes.
Like I can do with my tassel.
It's my hair is heavenly. See what I did there?
Right. If you want to look divine.
Oh my god.
This stuff just writes itself. Nicholas Stockard says, with their powers combined, these two Brians combine to form Brian Blessed, Defender of Earth.
Oh no. I'm not sure if I'm intrigued or terrified. Probably both.
Gordon lives. Or actually, my favorite from that movie is, oh, well, who wants to live forever? I love Brian Blessed, and anyone who doesn't should die. Anyway,
That
Not that I
escalated
take a
so
hard
quickly.
stand on this, but seriously. Cindy Cap, what sound does an Australian cow make? Do or oom. Ooh, ooh. Oh, I get it. It took me a moment. I get there in the end.
Cindy, thank you just for making him make that noise. What just came out of you?
I don't know.
Awesome. Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah, it's like, you never know what's going to be in any of our shows, and I sure as hell don't. I'm just as surprised as the rest of you. Rick Radley says, I'm beginning to think Sarah has some Belmont blood flowing through her brains. And Nick Talker says, I can't imagine how that guest flirted with Cookie. Just shocking. Hey, it works. And Eric Hawkins, I'm trying to finish writing a script for an adult film, but there are too many holes in the plot. Oh, the Eric Hawkins is the evil Cindy. And Rick Bradley says, I have the NES and SNES Classic. I love those. Got the PS1 and TurboGrafx 16 Classics as well. Classic gaming at its finest.
I love it. It's so much fun.
It is. Sounds good. And Rick Bradley asks, has any particular song lit a huge creative fire in you?
Oh, plenty. I think, honestly, though, the ones that do the job the most are instrumental. I think probably the most inspiring song for me personally that just really it almost makes me cry every time I hear it is the Shire theme from Lord of the Rings.
Yes, that's gorgeous.
And I think really anything that Howard Shore does is just so good. And that, and also the scores from Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away by Studio Ghibli. Those are I can put those on and I put those on. It's funny. I do most of my writing in the shower. Calm down, Christian. And and
more to say Christiana.
Indeed. And so it's so funny because like I'll put that music on in the shower. Robin knows that I'm just like writing. I write in the shower. Right. Like just in my head. And so because that's where a lot of ideas come to me.
Your paper get wet.
Well, you shouldn't see me. It's not a pretty sight. From like well, oh my.
Wait a second, how's my Bat King scrub? Brian! Go on.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, so like
sorry, not sorry.
Turning the shower off and running to the computer to type something just because so much pops in my head when I'm in the shower, and usually that music is playing, and it's just that's my inspiring place. Yeah. So I know if I ever get writer's block, I just go take a shower and it usually fixes itself.
I say whatever the heck works. Yeah. Well, and I can see instrumental music because I generally write to somewhat silence, but I have gotten into the lo-fi stuff and some classical as of late because no lyrics.
Yeah.
The lyrics pull you out of it, and it's a shame because a number of the groups that I like the best, like Squeeze or Ultravox, or especially Sparks, have such amazing lyrics, and very clever lyrics sometimes. And it's, I find myself working then like,
and you'll get distracted. Although I will say this, if I need like to get pumped up to do like to draw an action page or something, literally there is a huge creative fire that is in me because I listened to Through Fire and Flame by
Dragon Force.
Thank you, by Dragon Force, and that'll get you in the mood every single time.
Oh my god, yeah, a bass drum with like a 1/28th beat.
So wonderful.
Oh my god, it almost sounds like one solid tone.
It thunders the soul. It's so great. I love it.
Yeah, and it's like, what if Robert E. Howard wrote music lyrics? Oh my god, they talk about epic battles and giant sword fights and dragons and stuff. Dragon Force is an amazing group, and the lead guitarist, OMG, he is amazing. I saw him one time.
Talented. My gosh.
Is. I saw him one time strum a guitar, but he was moving his fingers along the neck that it was like, instead of ding, 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 it was like,
That's
almost
nuts.
like one tone.
And the mane that he has is just epic.
It
like,
is.
No one can ever pull off long hair like that guy.
Oh my God, it is truly rock hair. It really,
is.
Big hair. And Andy Shaggy Corey says, I used to paint to the Gladiator movie score and produce some of the best paintings of my career.
Yeah.
And Rick Bradley says, you can walk the walk, but can you talk the TED? I obviously can. And by the way, here's something here. Let me find it. Yes. Remember, folks, when TED talks, people listen every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. We're getting our act together here. And Rick Bradley says, and Robin still has a huge smile on her face, even though she married you. Strong woman.
Yeah, like I said, Jesus has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
Only the Lord can get her through this troubling time, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Or it's like an old Harry Chapin lyric about a truck driver going down the hills of Pennsylvania. And there was a line about he pushed on the brake to slow him down, but the pedal hit the floor without a sound. He said, Christ. It was funny how he named the only person who could save him now.
That's cool. That's a clever lyric, too. I like that.
30,000 pounds of bananas. If you can find the live version, it's even funnier because he talks about trying to end the song.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. That sounds funny.
And you will get your earworm for the next 3 days will be Harry. That sucks. So Sarah says, I'm eating homemade chocolate brownies with melted crushed Andes mints as the icing. It's mouthgasmic. I think I'm having one too. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Oh, yeah.
Why you gotta do that to us, man? Like, come on, dude.
I'm only 2.5 hours away. I can make it, Sarah. Keep it warm for me.
Brian's on the way. All right.
I am so gone to hell with this show. And Legend Driving Door says, "Come to me, Sarah, and bring your creamy treats." And Sarah says, "My creamy treats are warm and creamy."
There it is. This is
Adult Brian Swim. Died.
Adult Swim is starting now. Children, get out of the pool.
That's right. Oh my God! And there we go. Bow chicka wow wow and rawr. And now you know why we missed you so much, Sarah.
There you go.
You have lost nothing, darling. And can we put Rodman on an island with a volleyball?
Oh man, I'd love it as long as it was like a resort island. That would be great. I'd have me and a volleyball and a full staffed resort. I'm for it, Christian. Great idea. I love it.
That's a good way to wait out for the ship to come and get you. And he's fainting. And Dan Hollifield, I waved at Robin before I realized I wasn't actually in the show. Yeah, you remember all those drugs from the 60s and 70s? Well, Dan never had any. There's no explanation. So anyway, and Cindy Gap, how do Australians order monkeys? Amazon Prime, mate.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that is so awesome. That is so awesome. And we've got more comments here. Yes, and hello, Robin. Look at those two. Aww. And Robin Rodman is here to comment. I didn't think through the lack of mic or headphones. You did great.
You did fine, babe. You did
fantastically, young lady. It's the improv part of this show. You know, that's what separates like the pros from the wannabes. You know, you've done good. And Legend of Traveling Tars. Aww. And Rick Bradley. Geez, Brian, I leave you alone one time in Calcutta, and you wake up one time in a bath full of ice, and I never hear the end of it.
I feel like that just brings a special bond to your relationship. You know,
I think so. I think so. And Christian Illusions Jake, glad to see you here. Christianity isn't about Bible thumping. Other religions do that. That's right. There we go. And Sarah says, depending on any given person, no matter what the religion, it's all about how the individual portrays their belief. Exactly.
There's a lot of truth to that. Yeah.
Well said. Well said. And Shaggy Cordy, I'm a Magnola fan. Don't know if that surprises anyone. No, not really. Not really. Huh? Your layout is, very reminiscent of it in all the good way. And yes, by the same group who did the Babadook.
Yeah.
And yes, and experience, and not all religions, Jake. My religion doesn't. We wait until we're asked about it. Yes, and BKM, make that Australian cow noise while licking
Oh, you gotta do it. You gotta do it now. Come on.
Only if it's your spine I'm licking, Sarah, and covered in Andy's mince.
Do I need to step out of the room for a moment?
I want as many witnesses as possible. No one will believe my good fortune. Okay, let's see if okay. Whoa.
What kind of alien craziness just happened in front of me? You remember those sticks that when you move them, they go beep?
Oh yeah, theremin. I think it's called a theremin. Yes,
that was you just now.
Yeah, I can end a Beach Boys song. I am that talented. I'm telling you. The Eric, so many holes, so little time. So Sarah. Oh, we're on the road to hell now. It's great. Anyway, at least I got the best company. Are you an anime or manga fan?
Absolutely.
What's your favorites?
I would say Berserk is probably my favorite manga. My favorite anime has always been Dragon Ball Z because that was what I was introduced to first. Right. However, I'm really late to this. Hugely late to this. Other than Studio Ghibli, I think I will say this: Studio Ghibli, anything they make is just phenomenal and above and beyond everything else. But Cowboy Bebop, yes. Not only is it just a fantastic show, but the soundtrack. I have listened to that to the soundtrack to that show. They have it on vinyl. I'm very tempted to buy it. I think I'm going to get it, but that is currently my current obsession in anime.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And let's see. We just got another little dump here. Here we go. Bill Sarn says, breaking news. Cindy Camp just made Brian K. Morris give birth to a heifer on live on Facebook. No film at 11. Tell your kids you saw it here. And Cindy saw in the new year with some Australian kangaroo beer, nice and hoppy.
There it is. Oh my gosh.
and Andy Shaky Corey says the writing in the shower thing isn't uncommon. There is super stimulation from the water. Shout, Christian. It's also relaxing, and there's something about being naked inspiring God-given creativity.
Well, there we go.
There
is something to the relaxation in a hot shower. That really just kind of just like soothes you, calms you down, and that's when creativity can strike. I've heard so many people say they write in the shower.
Very, very true. Very true. Eric Hawkins says, I was introduced to Magnolia through Wolverine, The Jungle Adventure, and Batman. Gotham by Gaslight. One of the best stories ever. I love that. And what is your favorite place to draw? Asks Cindy Cap.
Like location, like just to draw, be in when I draw. Just right here. The Doodle Sanctum, as I call it.
Doodle the doodles.
Indeed, yes, I have cultivated a nice environment here that inspires me. I've got comics and theology books alongside one another, and then I've got my Nintendo and all my comic stuff and animation stuff all over the walls. So this is it. This is where I love to draw.
That sounds great. That sounds so sweet. And Bill Sarn says, Brian just ended his fez after hearing about Sarah's creamy treats. I challenge any of you to have an undented fez right about now. And put Rodman and Woodring on an island together. Just make sure Woodring has a simulation game with a nice wall to run into. I love that story. Yeah. And Gospel Illusion Jake says, sorry, I haven't been here in a while. I've been getting ready for my 12 church shows coming up. I'm making a big investment in my shows. Good for you, Christian Illusionist Jake. I'm so happy to see that, and it's good to see you back. Rick Bradley, I have lived life to the fullest after witnessing that.
Really, I think we can all die happy now, Brian. Thanks to you.
Yeah.
Thanks to you and your Australian cow impersonation.
Thank you, mate. Moo. Anyway, and Carl Winston says that spine licking, and then the Dark Pope died. He's not a fan. But best licking ever.
You got the approval, sir. Good job.
Man, that's what they say every time. I'm crying from laughing so hard. OMG, make sure you recorded that, Carl. I'm downloading this later. Eric Hawkins, it's not that the man didn't know how to juggle. He just didn't have the balls to do it. Oh, man, he's getting into the act here. Let's play Carpenter. First we'll get hammered, then I'll nail you.
And then Christian died. Or volunteered. We're not really sure which.
That's true. And I'm still on Sarah's creamy treats. Anyway, and this is Spinal Lick.
Brian just went to 11 with that.
I know, we did,
that
man.
Spine Lick, absolutely.
Holy cats. I'll go back and do it for you, Sarah, says Carl Winston, but I will have to mute it to live through the experience. And Nick Tucker says, if you like Cowboy Bebop, please consider Trigun. Yeah.
That is actually next on my list, Nicholas. I am doing that next after I finish this. My buddy Ray Kaufman has a nice list of anime that I have not yet experienced. So
man.
Good call.
Yeah, that is a good call. I also recommend, I've only read the first 12 volumes of it, and I know there's like about 700 or 800 of them, it seems.
One Piece.
Naruto.
Naruto. There you go.
I love Naruto. I started reading it because I read at one point it was like the largest selling comic book in the United States. I'm like, okay, let's check it out. And I understand why. It's very, very good. And One Punch Man.
I love One Punch Man.
I do too.
Because it's, I think if you get the writers of One Punch Man to write Superman, I think it would shut a lot of people up that say that Superman sucks as a character. It's like, no way, man. That's not what it's about. It's about like the inner emotional struggles and things like that. And the One Punch Man writers do that so well.
They do. They really do. And we have pleased the Dark Mistress, Sarah. We're so glad you're back, sweetheart. And Eric Hawkins says, Studio Ghibli, what is your take on the Pom Poko? I'm not familiar with that.
I am actually not familiar with that. Actually,
we'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
All right. And dang it, Trevor Hawkins, I was about to say Spinal Lick. Great minds think alike, they say. And you guys. Anyway, and Shaggy Cordy says, Brian's tried the Gundam Wing W score or Gundam Wing W Endless Waltz if you can find it. I've had no luck.
I have actually. I used to watch Gundam Wing on Cartoon Network back when Toonami was big, during the day. It's Toonami's back, but it's on Adult Swim now. And no, I used to watch Gundam Wing when it was on TV, and I loved it. It was great. My friends got into it a lot more than I did. They would like buy the big models and build them and everything. And
nice.
And so no, I love that show. It's great.
Yeah. Well, Cindy Kappen, this is probably the only thing we will disagree on ever in life. I couldn't get into Naruto. I watched a couple and just nah.
I got to give this lady.
I read the books.
I got to give this lady props. I've said this before, but she impressed me when she was on. I forgot what show she was on when she said this. That she learned Pokemon and started watching it and getting into the games and everything just to be a better teacher, to connect with her students better. What a fantastic teacher. Like, good job, Cindy. Like I liked you already, but when I found that out, my respect for you went through the roof. Like, you're awesome.
One of these days, Brian, we got to get you closer to Iowa, which is where, Cindy's home base is. And, you and I will have to do a show or two with Cindy.
Yeah, that'd be great.
She's so much fun. She really is. I love her to death. I really do. And Dan Holofield says there is a Yoko Kanno and the Seatbelts live concert on YouTube. Ooh, I would check that out. Yeah. And here's a good one. Nick Tucker. Yes. Vampire Hunter D movies are based on the most amazing novels, and the original art is so distinct and lovely. Yeah, I've read like the first half dozen of those.
Yeah, I love Vampire Hunter D. Again, my buddy Ray Kaufman. I was familiar with Vampire Hunter D, but he loves loves those novels and loves the movie so much. And they're great. I love the story. I love vampire lore anyway, so it was great.
Yeah, and Well, old, if you like older stuff, like the original Astro Boy is
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Really good. And probably my favorite of all times, and this probably says too much about me, is Ranma One Half.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that.
It is about it. Well, it starts out. It's about a young boy who, when he was a child, was training with this master, and in the land of many ponds, and he
Mhm.
falls into one where whenever he is whenever he get I can't remember right now whether he gets the hot water or the cold water, but when he's a guy and he gets one of those waters, he turns into a beautiful young woman.
Oh.
And vice versa for the other temperature.
Yeah.
And he's got like people that like the female Ranma but want to kill the male one and are not aware of the that they're one and the same. And also he's part of an arranged marriage and the girl can't stand him. And the parents get along just great, but the Ranma and this girl just are, at least outwardly don't care for each other. You know how it goes. But the thing is, you wind up finding other people who have fallen in other ponds in that area, and one guy turns into a pig when he's wet, and it's like, and you have like an old guy who steals panties from women and has a collection of them. And
Christian Basil is in this show.
I know it's and they
Whoa,
draw him so well. It looks
that's
just
amazing.
Like him. It is. Yeah, and what else was there? It's like, and then they have like various forms of kung fu, and just when you think it gets too weird, they up it.
I love it.
Yeah, seriously, there's like 36 volumes of it from Viz, and it is hilarious. It is hilarious, and we've got some more recommendations here. Cindy Kep, okay, couldn't get into Naruto, but we love you anyway. Andy Shaggy Corey, the two mix from the Endless Waltz DVA or OVA. Ask me about it, BKM, sometime. Will do. Yeah. And which Gundam Wing? Because there's 100 of them, says Shaggy Corey. That's why I suggested Gundam Wing W and Endless Waltz, which is one of the few Gundam series to get a sequel. And yes, Helsing, Rick Bradley is another great series. Good choice there. And Lodos Wars, I saw a few of those and I like those. Oh, very cool. And Ranma One Half is so great. Thank you, Rick Bradley. I'm glad you see it. And it is fun. And Tenchi Muyo is another great, hilarious series. Thank you, Rick. And the podcast was on manga writing. Well, it just changed. And,
I guess so.
And let's say, and it would be awesome if Brian Rodman came to NonCon. I got lots of awesome Bible stories he would like. That's true. We ought to talk about NonCon for you, man.
All right.
Yeah, it's in South. Well, I want to say Frankfort, Ohio. I think it is like Southwest Ohio, about an hour north of Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. That's not that far from me at all.
I didn't think so, no.
Yeah.
Carl Witzman, now they are stealing my ideas. Mad Gasser cheerleader. And Vampire Hunter D says Sarah were books, graphic novels. I love Vampire Hunter D, which is one of the few animes I fell in love with. And yeah. And Cindy Kep says Airbender was fun. That's what I hear. I've only seen the movie, and I can imagine the graphic novels are dozens of times better than that.
The show, it's on Netflix right now. The show, yes.
Okay.
The series is phenomenal. It originally aired on Nickelodeon, and it is such a good show. I can't recommend The Last Airbender, it's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah,
I can't recommend it enough.
I'll have to look for that. And Christian Illusionist Jake says it's in Middletown, Ohio. Okay, yeah, Middletown, Ohio. And Shaggy Corey says Witch Hunter Robin was beautiful and so well written. If you can find it, watch it. Okay, I will. And Rick Bradley says my all-time favorite anime series is Robotech. I highly recommend it. I have seen some of the old Robotechs.
Yeah.
Those were really good. And a really good series of comics from Comico in the 80s, too. Nick Tucker says, look up Ultimate Helsing Abridged by Team 4-Star on YouTube. It is hilarious, but major language gore warnings.
That doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Obviously
you saw what I draw. So.
I know. Yeah, this is a man of God, and look what he's drawing. Oh my God, it's horrific. And Airbender was awesome, says Trevor Hawkins. I'll have to look into that. But speaking of awesome, that's what this guy here is, Brian Rodman. Thank you very much for being here, brother.
Thanks for having me, man. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for having me on the show. It was great.
Oh,
hanging
I'm
out with you guys.
glad to, man. It's always a treat to have you here. And once again, folks, we're gonna be winding down things. And wait a second, Sarah says I thought Airbender was a fart. Good one, Sarah.
Well done.
But anyway, and I lost I somehow lost the picture. But anyway, Memoirs of an Angel is a Kickstarter right now that we would love it if you would get involved with that. If you like BRIAN RODMAN, and dear Lord, how could you not? He's such a wonderful guy. Yes, look how
Hello.
I know. He's so cute and adorable.
Oh, wait, hold on. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, scandalous.
Mm.
Look at that.
Oh, baby.
Be jealous, Christian.
No, yes, but Christian, we're looking for each other's creamy centers now. But anyway, but now that we've ruined any chance of selling your comic, please check this book out. I have read earlier issues, and this is great. I have signed up for all of them. Okay, you will get a real treat when you pledge for Memoirs of an Angel, which has 16 days to go. Yep. They've reached their $2,500 goal, but they've got a $3,000 goal that is entirely possible to make. And please check it out after this show, if you would, please, and give Brian some love. Also, he's at BrianRodman.com, and he's also got a YouTube channel where you can watch his great Dastardly Dingoes podcast with Jeremy Woodring, and now with Chad Nuss for extra dingo-y goodness. And you should get there and like and subscribe. And now, thank you to everyone who's had such great comments. And let's see, here we go. Let's get through them all. Get everyone in here. Dan Hollifeld says, I grew up with Astro Boy cartoons and Tobor the Eighth Man. Yes, that was my weekday afternoon when I lived out east. It was Astro Boy and Tobor the Eighth Man.
Nice.
And it's called Eighth Man because there were several other experiments before him that didn't quite work out.
Oh, very cool. All right.
Great show. Thank you, Sarah, for helping make it so. I love them.
Absolutely.
I really do. And Rodman, have we met in person? Asked Shaggy Cordy. I did enough cons in Ohio. I'm sure we had to have met, but I can't remember.
I don't think we've officially met. We've probably been at the same show and have passed each other and whatnot, but I don't know. Maybe we have. I have no idea at this point. I swear, like, I meet so many people at Comic Cons. If you run up to me, if you're going to do Cincinnati Comic Con this year, we are going to be doing it. And because I'll be vaccinated and all that stuff, and Brian will be released back into the wild. And if you're doing Cincinnati Comic Con, just run up to my table and say, "Hey, it's me," and I'll know who you are.
So everyone watching the show, please show up at. And Shaky Corey says, my first anime was the original Voltron.
Oh,
yes.
Very
cool.
Nice.
And yeah, Shaggy is easy to find. He wears a purple dress shirt. He does stand out. And Eric Hawkins, we're going to close the show with 3 more comments here. Eric Hawkins says, don't you dare do that. If you are at a table next to me this year. Yes, dear.
Now you know what you need to do.
That's right. That's right.
There you go.
It's just like when Christian says stop typing. You know what I'm saying? The host can pull this crap
early in the morning when he first gets there and walks up to the table, just there you go.
Yeah. Mate. In my eyes, I look away for a second to look back to see Brian's kissing. Don't judge us. Anyway, great timing to look back, Carly. We're saving. There we go. I know. I see the memes getting started right now.
Gladly.
That I'm going to be spending the next month explaining to my wife and my mother-in-law. But anyway, and good night, Brian's and all. Have a good eating fun show as always. Jeff Hayes, thank you, brother, for being here, and thank you for sponsoring this show. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. Now, what matters to me is BRIAN RODMAN here. He is a great gentleman. He is funny as heck, and a magnificent creator, a wonderful podcaster, and his show is really awesome too. I always have a good time on there. And also, please, I'll let him tell you where you can stay in touch with BRIAN RODMAN.
Yeah, the best way to get in touch with me is just go to BRIANRODMAN.com. From there, you can go to all my social media outlets. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm not on Twitter very much. It's kind of just a large dumpster fire, but I do have presence there. I'm mostly on Facebook. And you can also go to BRIANRODMAN.com and go to our Kickstarter right now. I think we have like 72 backers. We are really trying to get to we're trying to break 100 this campaign. We've gotten so close before, and we really want to get the word out there to more people, because this series is awesome, and it's something that I'm passionate about. It's something that Robin's passionate about, and it's catching on. People that are jumping in on the series, they're loving it, and we're having a blast just enjoying this series together. So join us. There's levels on Kickstarter for anything that fits your budget. You can jump in and get caught up with a digital tier. That's probably the best way to do it, honestly. And I would love to see your name pop up, and I'll shoot you a message, and we can have a laugh or two. But anyway, thank you so much for having me, Brian. And that's it for me. Yeah.
All right. Well, closing this out, the Palm Poco are samurai raccoons with giant testicular fortitude, says Eric Hawkins. Now I know why you like it so much. I'll have to check it out. And Carl Wisman says, sorry, my screenshot is broken now.
That's all right. You can get it on the replay.
Yeah, I'm making it into t-shirts and drinking cups now. We are both going to increase our merch catalog now, and we'll send you one for free, Carl. And
Indeed.
Carl's saying, do me no favors. Anyway, so Brian, I'm going to mute you here, and we'll talk right after the show, after we close this out. But Brian Rodman, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
Always a grand time to have you here. So I'm going to take over the screen now, and everyone, please pay attention to that Kickstarter campaign for Memoirs of an Angel #7. The next story arc begins, and please give that some Kickstarter love. It really deserves it. It's great stuff. Like I said, I've read some of his early work, and I signed up for the whole arc this time. This is going to be great. So anyway, thank you all for being here. Sarah, it has been a special treat to have you back. We have missed you all. We have missed you so very much. And thank you to everyone who's been so lively in the chat tonight. You make this show. You really do. Programming notes, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we will have another episode of Nevermind the Furthmore. And with your creative conversation, a little bit of coffee, and a whole lot of fun. Then Thursday, boy, howdy, are we packed. We've got at 10 a.m. Ted Talks Timepieces. He's going to be investigating the joys of another wristwatch, and it's been fascinating. Please check that out. Then at 7 p.m., if you like Brian Rodman and Eric Hawkins and Clyde Hall and me, then you'll love Comic Book Spectrum, where we talk about comic books past, present, and future, and we look forward to having you there. We've got a really lively discussion we're going to have on that was suggested by one of our viewers last week on how to grow the comics market, and we would love your questions and your input on that. Then at 8 p.m. will be Creative as Hale with author Amy Hale, who is going to have a very special guest, I understand. You will want to tune into that. You'll be very impressed. Then at 9 p.m. is Stupid O'Clock with Dan Holofield, Joe Dog McKeel, Skunk Rocker, a whole bunch of really great people on that show. Please check it out. It's great conversation all the time. And stay tuned to the Stupid After Show following that. And then on Friday night, in addition to Michaela Jade's Tidbits and Squiggles at 7 and the Historical Fencing Guild at 8, we've got a brand new show at 6 p.m. Eastern, Drinking with the Davies. Chrissy and Ted Davies get together, and they show you how to imbibe responsibly and deliciously. It will be a fantastic show. Looking forward to that so much. And so again, thank you to Brian Rodman. Next week, we are going to have a trio of kind of new writers that I'm excited to have on the show. A couple of them are brand new to the experience. God help them. And we're going to bring back Teresa D. Dunn, who has just recently started her own talk show similar to this one, except she knows what she's doing. On Thursdays at 6 p.m., always a treat. Please check that out. 5 p.m. Central. Also, Andy Bove, who is a St. Louis-based novelist and has an interesting day job that you'll find fascinating. And Morgan Strogan-Komnick, who is a horror writer. And they're going to be fascinating. It's going to be a brand new set of people that you can ask about what it's like to be a ground level author, just really kind of starting out in the game. And as always, I look forward to your questions and your comments. As always, you guys are fantastic. So I want to say my thank yous now to Plasma Fire Graphics. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because that's what people want to look at to see if the book or a comic book is worth buying. Jeffrey Hayes can make the best kind of graphics for you. Plus, he can create graphics to help you sell the book, including book trailers, and you will love it. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you're watching us on Kathy Jackson's books or the Rising Tide Publications page or the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page, please, if you've enjoyed any part of the show, please give us a like. It doesn't cost anything, and it makes us so happy. It helps us a lot. It really encourages us. Plus, give the page you're watching on a like as well to thank your host for doing so. If you're watching us on YouTube, on the Brian K. Morris Rising Tide Publications page, please, again, hit that thumbs up if you've liked any part of this show, and please consider subscribing and ringing that bell to be notified of any future appearances. And you can change your mind anytime, but it just takes a couple seconds, doesn't cost you a thing, just a little time. And that is pretty much what we have. So again, a big thanks to all of you for participating in tonight's conversation. And thank you again to Brian Rodman. Go to brianrodman.com to check out all he does, and check out his Dastardly Dingoes podcast. He and Jeremy and Chad run a great show. And let's get set for the next shot here, because we've moved things and we're not real sure where they all are. So anyway, thank you for joining us tonight on the March 9th, 2021 edition of Clever Title Pending. We hope to see you next week. And if nothing else, we'll see you tomorrow morning on Nevermind the Furthmore. So as always, folks, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. That's just what you are. Thank you for being here on Clever Title Pending. Have a good night, everyone. Oh, so I'm in the wrong one. I've got a new layout on my screen here, so I'm just getting used to it. Thank you for watching, everyone. Take care. Special thank you to all of our Patreon subscribers. Please go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris and see all the treats we have for you there. Thank you all for your support, and be sure to check out the Rising Tide Publications page on Facebook. Take a screenshot of that, because we got plenty more entertainment coming your way soon.
This is the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Also catch us on the HWWS Web TV YouTube channel. Subscribe today and become part of the legend.